Welcome to a special edition of Community Chat. This program today, as the other ones that have been previously produced, are to better inform the voters, the residents of Abington, about the candidates who are seeking to be elected to the Board of Health come April 30th. Joining us today is Katie VanNest. Katie is a candidate for office. Katie, welcome to the program.
Kevin, thanks so much for having me today.
You got it. Tell us a little bit about yourself for folks who may not know who you are.
Sure. So my husband and I moved to Abington probably just under 7 years ago when my son was 1. We previously lived in South Weymouth, and we're really looking for a little bit more space, a bigger backyard to, grow our family. And we ended up in Abington, and we've been very happy here. I've got 2 kids now. My son Graham is 7, he's a 2nd grader, and then I have a feisty little 5-year-old Dylan, and she's in afternoon preschool. Very excited for kindergarten.
Excellent. What motivated you to run for the Board of Health?
Since moving to Abington, I've been gradually planting some roots. My kids are both involved in the school systems, and I've been, joining some committees. I'm part of Abington Celebrates, and that has been such a pleasure and a good way of meeting other people in town who love being involved. And I started doing Cub Scouts with my son, which I also really love. And I'm a new recent addition to the Abington Town Choir, so, I just keep adding on more things that I enjoy and meeting more people.
In your opinion, what is the primary function of the Board of Health?
Well, I think for me, with my nursing background, I'm just tweaking what I already am passionate about with my profession. When a patient comes into the office, I'm looking at them and I'm trying to do everything that I can to promote, health and happiness and a long life. And so for me, switching to a Board of Health reference, it will really be just changing that to be, what can I do, how can I be involved to make the residents of Abington happy and healthy long term?
How would you define public health?
So again, that's kind of similar to the previous question. Being a nurse, it's looking out for the general well-being of the town, making whatever positive impact I can to help promote health and well-being for the residents.
If you are successful come April 30th, what do you feel that you would most contribute to this board?
Public health being the board itself, I think my nursing background will become very handy. If anything comes up that has a clinical reference, I'll be able to immediately dive in and contribute. There are also some other things that I'm passionate about. Recycling is a big one. My family strives to really do a good job there. And so I know trash and recycle is also a big part of the Board of Health right now. So I'm keen on diving in there as well.
As we attempt to navigate life post-COVID, we cannot ignore that the pandemic did bring to light a few hot-button topics. How do you feel that you would handle internal or external conflict if placed in a similar situation as a board member?
I think one thing that I can bring to the table is professionalism, first and foremost. I deal with sensitive issues as a nurse all the time, and you have to stay calm, you have to stay collected, you have to look at the big picture and really focus on positive outcomes.
There is a potential that while you are serving on the Board of Health, the contract will be up for renewal. Now, while the contract doesn't fall under the board's purview, what kind of regulations would you propose to help reduce trash tonnage?
My understanding right now is that we are in the 2nd year of our 3-year contract, and I know it has been a challenge these past couple of years. I would really like to see reduction of tonnage by, implementing alternative methods. Like I said, the recycling. This was just a question for this week for Abington News, so it's hot off the pages, and I'll be turning that in by 5 today. Water bottles, I think that banning them would be a pretty heavy-duty task, but I think promoting, using the Board of Health as a platform to promote and educate rather than implement regulations is probably a good way to go, I want to get everybody on the same page and passionate about the same things, because I think as a community, we can do so much if we're all doing good things, and decreasing tonnage is one of them.
If you are elected, what sort of proactive community health initiatives would you like to see promoted or geared towards betterment of the town?
So as a nurse, I would have to say I'm a pretty strong believer in vaccinations. I want to continue to see flu clinics, COVID clinics. I heard that there's even dog rabies clinics. Could we get the dog park involved and do an event like that? I think my Abington Celebrates party planning background would also be fun, because I really want to get all the town together and, do good things.
This is the part of our conversation where I ask you if there's a question or an issue that wasn't discussed or mentioned, but that you'd like to take a moment to speak to.
What do you mean? In relation, just anything
as
in
far as the
general?
Board of Health we got questions that every candidate has been asked, but there might be a few things that we did not ask or that there's not a question, but you feel is essential to folks understanding you a little bit better, and maybe it's an issue that has to do with the Board of Health.
Sure. I think that in the past couple of years during the pandemic, there was really a great divide, unfortunately, and I would like to see the public health not be a very political position. I know that people will have opposing opinions, but I'm a friendly person. I think that I can get along with others and be constructive rather than argumentative, and I just want to push that.
How can residents find out more about you or reach out to you to learn more about your campaign for office?
Oh, absolutely. I've created a Facebook page, and I'm trying to be, really upfront there. I would gladly provide my email. It's just first name dot last name, katie.vannest@gmail.com, and I would welcome any kind of outreach, whether it's just opinions or excitement that I'm running, anything at all. Like I said earlier, I have so enjoyed becoming more involved in the community, and I've so enjoyed meeting new people, and I hope to continue to do that.
Well, we want to thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Kevin.
You got it. And we want to thank you for tuning into this program to get better educated on where the candidates stand and get to kind of know them a little bit. Until our next conversation, thank you so much for tuning into Community Chat.